is number one.
Notre Dame with a miracle win as the
He's going in. Notre Dame has scored.
A lot of my friends always tease me about my days of being a wide receiver. I think my nickname at one point was in practice one day they taped D.COY that stood for decoy because I was the starting receiver opposite of Timmy Brown, and that was basically my role, to run decoy routes. We were practicing at the Cotton Bowl, and I had a kind of a tendency to drop a pass here and there. And when you're in a wishbone offense, you don't want to drop opportunities. Going into the Cotton Bowl, I didn't have very impressive stats as a wide receiver. Our practices were pretty intense. And I remember my parents drove all the way from Florida to watch me practice. They were in the stands. Sure enough, my number was called to run a middle route. Tony Rice dropped back. I'm going across the middle. Tony throws a beautiful pass. It hits me right in the chest. No excuse. I dropped the ball, feeling horrible. I think Coach Holtz was standing behind me, behind the secondary, and he started running full speed at me and just went right past me. I didn't know where he was going, and he weaved himself through the linebackers, through the defensive line, the O-line, and went right to Tony Rice. And it was probably a low point in my career, but he grabbed Tony Rice by the face mask, and he said, "Tony, I don't care how open Pat Terrell is, do not throw the football to Pat Terrell. Take the sack." And I tell you what, that got to a brother. And sure enough, Coach Holtz, he said, "I don't care if Pat Terrell is so open, you could walk up and hand him the football, take the sack. Do not throw the football to Pat Terrell." Looking back on it, you got the Heisman Trophy candidate. That's where you wanted the ball. Low moment, I'm walking off the field to practice, and Holtz puts his arm around me. And how I got moved to defensive back was at that moment. He said, "Pat, you're the best receiver I've ever coached. Until I throw you the football, I'm moving you to defensive back in the spring." So you grow up a lot. You grow up fast in college football, and it's probably a good thing that happened to me. But there's a lot of stories like that, but he did a great job for us, and I'm very privileged to say that he was my head coach for 4 years.